glasses are filthy. Yeah. Just again, keep an eye out as you get close to debris that you might not have seen from a distance. And we'll keep it close to the shoreline to give these guys plenty of room. The next buoy in here will be the Three Sisters, which is 9, and the ones after that, 8, somewhere there. Maybe that buoy there is Bayou Teche or the North Bend, but the next one over here is the Flower Pot wrecks. And I think they're called that because they don't know exactly the names of the ships. We're paddling through vegetation here. Look at this one, like just coming out of nowhere now. That's when you see it's a boat.
Almost looks like a pier coming out.
Looks like shoreline until you get right here, and then you see it's a ship.
That's why the vegetation on both sides is
Wow.
That's a boat. And that vegetation all on that boat. That's kind of wild.
This buoy is the Three Sisters. Yep, that one we just passed was part of that. You see the ship line right in there? Wow.
This is called the Three Sisters.
And here's a big bowsprit sticking up out of the water, and the rest of the ship is grown up with vegetation. How amazing. I mean, just absolutely amazing.
Now look at those nails sticking out of that too.
Yep. Flower pot wrecks.
Named after a town of Florida. Oh no, this is what?
I say this all the time, everything is spiritual, and that was certainly the case here at Mallows Bay, although I didn't notice it at first. You see, all of these shipwrecks, as interesting as they are, have almost a dark side in their history. And that dark side is that these ships built so hastily in World War I were a boondoggle. The U.S. government spent $300 million supposedly to build 700 ships. They only managed to build 98. They were supposed to carry war materiel between the United States and Europe. Only 3 of those 98 boats ever made a voyage across the ocean. One to Italy, one to France. One made a couple of trips to Hawaii. That was it. The war ended in 1918, and since they were built of wood and not built very well, these ships were immediately obsolete. The U.S. tried to sell them because it cost $50,000 a month to store them. And only one company, the Western Maritime Salvage Company of Alexandria, Virginia, bid to buy them. And they bought all of these ships for $750,000. Do the math. Look at how much money they lost. Supposedly, they were going to bring them to Alexandria one at a time and take scrap off of them, make money. And they did that for a while, but the Depression hit. The company went under. And in the midst of all of that and their bankruptcy and everything else, they towed 98 ships to Mallows Bay, and essentially they just dumped them. Mallows Bay in 1921-22 was just an illegal landfill, or so to speak. They set fire to something like 40 of them at once and had this massive conflagration. They went bankrupt, and then these ships just sat there. In World War II, Bethlehem Steel bought the rights to them to try to get some more scrap metal out of them. That didn't last very long. They didn't get very much. They abandoned them. After that, there was a company that supposedly was going to buy them and clean them up and wanted access to the land as well. It turns out that was the Potomac Power Company, and all they were doing was building a shell corporation because they wanted to get the land and build a power generating station without any approval of the state, county, local, you name it. That was found out. Massive scandal. They were told, no, this deal's off, and they lost the access to the land and to the ships. And so by that point, they just sat. Through the 1950s, the 1960s, the 1970s. In 1973, the steel-hulled ferry, the Accomac, that you'll see us paddle by in just a moment, it had been ferrying passengers from Norfolk to across the Potomac to Port Charles in Maryland for many years. They had a fire on board, pretty serious fire, could have been repaired, but the company decided it was going to be too expensive, so they towed the Accomac to Mallows Bay and just abandoned it. They dumped it. Think about this. These are the type of activities that corporations were doing that if you and I did that, if we brought our household waste and dumped it out on Tuckasegee Road, we'd probably go to jail. But these are government contracts. And remember, the big corporation, they were based in Alexandria. That's right across the 14th Street Bridge from Washington, D.C. Now, I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist, but if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, maybe Mallows Bay is a duck. And that's its history. An eyesore history. A black mark in the way we go about the business of building ships and supporting war and things like that. By the 1970s, 1980s, everybody realized something had to be done. Congress finally started talking about it. But that's when the scientists and biologists, naturalists started speaking up and said, wait a minute, something has happened here. This is a horrible situation in its past, but it's turned into an incredibly diverse wildlife nature preserve. There's more diversity of birds, reptiles, fish now in Mallows Bay than anywhere else on the Potomac River. Bald eagles have their nest there. Ospreys have built nests in some of the wrecks. The great heron have plenty of flocks of birds there. There's more fish in this section of the Potomac River than anywhere else in the tidal portions of the river. And that's because the wrecks give structure. So people started paying attention. And for once, the United States Congress listened to the experts. So with NOAA's help and others, in 1989, I believe it was 89, the Mallows Bay area was accorded national respect. It was accorded to be a national marine sanctuary and wildlife sanctuary. So now it's protected. And that's the good. When I mention Romans 8, that's the verse 8:28 we all like to think about. God can cause all things to work for good for those who love God. That's what Paul was saying. The good here is this incredibly beautiful nature preserve with unbelievable wildlife. We were just thrilled to see a bald eagle right after we paddled around the point. That came out of the horribly corrupt, horribly unethical actions of companies and corporations just dumping ships there. And that came from the United States government's short-sighted boondoggle that somehow they were going to make these 700 ships and get them built, and the German U-boat menace would be taken care of in World War I. And well, we see how often government plans work out or don't work out. So the good is what you see in the rest of the video. The good came out of something that started anything but good. I wasn't looking for that when I first decided I wanted to go paddle Mallows Bay. But that was the astonishing aspect that reminds me, like I say, everything's spiritual. And that's the voiceover. That's the point. We'll let you look at some more of the paddling, and we're just about out into the good energetic water where we're going to let the current and the waves kind of surf us by two final wrecks, the SS Benzonia and the ferry Accomac. So you'll see those. That'll be the last two that you see. And then we'll kind of fade it to black as we go and start heading back into shore and heading back over to the ramp. Hope you enjoy it, watching anyway. Boy, you would love it if you make plans to go. Trust me, this ended up being, for us, a bucket list paddle. So enjoy the rest, and don't forget, everything is spiritual. God bless you all.
Oh, I just hit one I never saw. My paddle hit it. You know, this would surf us straight to the Accomac, except we've got a wreck in front of us.
Yeah.
Great.
You go to the right a little.
Yeah, but watch the waves. That one just sort of wanted to play with me. I wasn't ready for it. Right here at 11 o'clock is the Benzonia. I've got pictures of it at its launch, I think. I believe that's one I got pictures of. I think it was launched in Washington State. It's come a long way to sit forever here. Every now and then one like wants to grab me, and
How to play with it.
I gotta tell you, a couple of them I'm like, what are you doing? Like trying to pirouette me and duck me?
I was going to turn and look at the Benzonia, look at the front of it, and I'm like, oh, nope.
Yeah.
You like my
Just reminding you I'm in charge now. I mean, we're going to get to the Accomack, but it's going to be a quick flyby. We're hunting man.
Rowan would like this water.
Well, Rowan wouldn't appreciate the danger of this water.
Yeah, we were just like a bunk down.
Yeah. So I can't tell if the whole, yeah, I guess this is another ship that the ferry's like laying over. See this line here?
Yeah.
I was wondering if the ferry had like half disintegrated, but it looks pretty intact. And I guess
Another ship rolled up against it.
this is just another ship. It's unnamed. We'll see what it looks like on the lee side as we get a paddle up it around, you know.
What is that? Is that like a nest or something over the front?
I saw pictures of ospreys nesting on it, and they would very well be ospreys, but we won't see them probably. Hopefully they aren't young in the nest or the mama will dive on us. A lot of holes in the hull. This is the SS Accomack ferry. It was abandoned here in 1973. Mast up on the front, I believe, is an osprey nest. And I've actually seen photos of people who have paddled inside the ship. There's a place here where it's just rotted away. There's probably too much wind. We probably can't do that. But I can give it an eyeball. The hull right there is just flapping like it's paper. Stairwell and interior bulkheads of the ship. Geez, that steel's just like moving like it's made of tinfoil. Don't get too close. Don't get too close. That steel's just wavering like it's tinfoil. I'm not gonna paddle in there. Now this is just what there's no excuse for. But again, it's home to ospreys. Hey, why don't we go in and go back over towards the SS Boone and see if we can see that eagle again.
Okay.
I mean, it looked like it was just going from one tree to the next, so maybe it's got a nest up there. I saw it fly right as we first paddled around. And we've pretty much paddled the grade. We've done the tour. I mean, we made it to the Accomack. Pretty ugly ship. My legs are hurting again. Yeah, it's the mark, the places I need to.
You need to burn them down.
Either that or I need to. May blow us some that way, but get closer we can turn that. We'll probably gonna have to paddle to go this way. little bit at the very end up there towards Grady Spit. Is that a heron on top of that post? Couple of them on the St. John's and the water in Jacksonville diving for fish. They were like almost terrifying. The bank of it didn't want to go, oh, what's the water? Too close. I'm like, yeah. We're in 9 feet. 9 by here. Touch the river. Sneak around. Second one may be an eagle hunter. Because it was different than the first one. It was bigger than the first one. Somewhere here would be a nest, but I haven't seen one. I have no idea if I'm still recording or not. Hoping to get an eagle. I'm gonna pull in over here and change batteries.
GoPro, start recording.
That effort became known. The state of Maryland government back here to the beach. What'd you say? What'd you say?
You answered it.
What?
I look like you might be going over there.
No, I'm not going in there.
But then I realized you weren't.
Nope. We are officially done with Mallows Bay. There we are. And magic word. GoPro stop recording.
That's all, folks.